this morning's workout. Brian Kelly met with the media after that. So going to let you hear a couple of things that BK had to say. I'm curious about special teams, new special teams coach, such as it is, multiple special teams coaches, such as it is. Not really a new schematics as much as you can change special team schematics, but certainly a change in their approach to that. Special teams were a disaster a year ago. Kelly had some ideas he wanted to share with us this morning.
So John Jancic will coordinate, which will be the voice of what we're doing. And we're not – I was really happy with our scheme. I thought, as I did a deep dive on what we did special teams-wise, we fielded the ball poorly last year. We certainly, we're in a position where a walk-on was our kicker, and he had his moments, but he had some big kicks as well. I thought our punter was excellent. Our long snapper was excellent. So when you talk about the individuals, we had to address kickoff return and punt return and who that person was, and I think we went out and did that.
I think special teams may be the easiest and hardest position to coach, especially on a college staff. The easiest in that the schemes are not terribly difficult. We're not talking about upper level football IQ required to play special teams in most cases. This is not stuff that's hard to pick up. A lot of it is common sense football stuff that's got to be reinforced. So of the categories, it's the easiest one probably schematically to get done. And then the other thing is, if you're a good special teams coach, you can motivate. We've seen the guy, and other than strength coach, which has got to be the big motivational screamer in the building, this is the one position where you do have to motivate a little bit, because you've seen the difference between good special teams and bad special teams a lot of time is not about schematics. Ain't that many things you can do, okay? Go down and tackle a guy with the ball. It's, do the guys that are on those units want to be on those units? And everybody plays it a little bit differently. Some people play a lot of starters. Some people play very few. But you've seen those special teams units that really get after it. So you got to be a motivator. The hard part is that you can do everything right as a coach, and even more so, I think, than the positions on the field. You can just have a specialist that makes a mistake. And if you're a special teams coach, you can coach the kicker to do everything right. He might shank a kick. You could, teach the punter to do everything properly, and he might shank a punt. You can teach the returners to do everything properly, and they might fumble a ball. And what do you do if you're a coach? The guy fumbles. Now this happens at other positions too, but I find it especially happens on special teams. So he's got to work through all of those things. The really good special teams coach have it all. They know the special techniques that you need to kick and punt a football, how you should react on fielding punts, where you should be, and all that. But they really motivate their guys to get down the field. Those guys want to play special team. It's kind of like rebounding in basketball. There's a lot of technique to it, but a lot of it is want to. Special teams is a lot of want to. We'll see how much want to that they've got. Kelly also wanted to talk about Denver Harris today.
There's an affiliation with LSU here with the family. He had a lot of people speak on his behalf. He had a number of interviews with Coach House and myself, and we felt with the culture in which we have put together here that he would make it here because the culture is really strong. And it's proven to be that he's done well early on, and he has no choice. He has to make it. So here's a guy that has been given a second chance, and we feel like because of the circumstances, the culture is strong. He knows that this is really his last chance at an SEC opportunity, that it was worth the risk, and so far so good.
Kelly can, present it to him that way, and he is 100% right with what he's saying. It's pretty good culture over there. They have done a real good job with that. He's right about this is probably Harris's last chance. But it's up to the kid. They can say that all day long. Like, how could you possibly blow this opportunity? Well, that's Jalen Carter. About 2 months ago, Jalen Carter looked like he was in very strong position to be the number one pick in the draft. We're talking about the defensive tackle at Georgia, okay? And what did Jalen Carter do? With essentially what you have, if you're in Jalen Carter's case, is you have a 3.5-month job interview. Everybody that's going to the NFL draft has a 3.5-month job interview from the middle of January when you declare or your season's over all the way through the draft itself. You got to go to the combine. You can go to one of the postseason bowl games. You go to pro day. But mostly what you do is, we used to talk about is like, go put them in the bubble wrap somewhere. Don't get hurt and don't get in any trouble. Getting hurt, sometimes that's just bad luck. We've seen a little bit of that too. What did Jalen Carter do? He went out, he broke the law. He broke the law in an incident that ended up being very tragic. How much of that was on him, that's still got to play out. Then he shows up for pro day, overweight, and can't even finish the drills. Now, Jalen Carter's going to get drafted one time, and he has cost himself money. I don't know how much money he's cost himself, but he has certainly cost himself money in the last 60 days. And he's got roughly 40 more to make good on that. But Jalen Carter, I'm sure, was pretty good culture over at Georgia too, right? I don't know how good the culture is inside the building. I know when they get on the field, they win a lot. So it was Jalen Carter's only chance to get drafted, and he's already cost himself some money. How about Tony Mitchell at Alabama? Now, here's a guy who is, was a highly recruited player at the University of Alabama. Plenty of those guys go there, win big, get drafted, make plenty of money. Quite certain they told Tony Mitchell there's a certain level of, responsibility here to doing this to be able to play here.